The 1975 were sort of founded in 2002 by Matty Healy, who's the son of Denise Welch, that woman off Waterloo Road who famously said she had her car stolen when actually she just lost it, which I actually kind of think that's a metaphor for the entire band and its practice. But Matthew Healy met Ross MacDonald, Adam Han and George Daniel, who are the other members of the band, when he was at high school. And they started jamming together after a council worker made a sort of a teen, sexy, drug-fueled gig thing. It wasn't his intention. If that was, his intention, he probably would have landed himself in jail. But after a few covers, they kind of went down well at this event, and then they started to sit down and sort of write their own songs. And Han eventually invited everyone to form like a proper band, and they went back to covering punk songs in local clubs and that, just to sort of get their name up. So they originally released and performed material under various names, all of which are terrible, such as Me and You versus Them, Forever Enjoying Sex, Talk House, The Slowdown, Big Sleep, Drive Like I Do, and these are just all such bad names. They actually settled on the name in 1975 after they found it 1 June the 1975 scribbled on the back of a beat poetry book, which is quite cool, I guess. I don't really know what I can say about that other than it's a thing. As for their style, their songs do have particular themes. Mainly they're all about love and passion and sex. They're obsessed with that. All of their songs do sort of drive with these core beliefs. There's also one sort of deal with ideals of society and money and how it sort of drives us all, which is quite ironic for the band who are making a lot of money right now in 2016. But that's besides the point. They're also very inspired by 1980s, especially Michael Jackson. They're just such a bad vibe. I don't mean bad as in like shit. I mean bad as in the album vibe to these songs. And they sort of use the 1980s style to make it a very much new thing. We'll talk more about that later on. I don't even think that made sense, but it sounded cool in my head. It sounded quite cool. The band they have very mellow and smooth songs, particularly on their first album. But as they sort of in their second album, which we will talk about in much more depth later on, they sort of go for more harder 80s themes, sort of like really heavy hooks, bass lines, driving riffs. They kind of turn it up basically in their second album, but they're a sort of mellow, smooth band at their core. Lots of people I know, and you probably know as well, listen to them while high or something like that. I think that's probably how the best way to experience them. Along with the music as well, their visual style is very important. The black and white aesthetic, which they use for their gigs and for their first album cover and all their first original EPs, is juxtaposed with the tone of the music as well, because like I say, the tracks that aren't sort of mellow and quiet ones are sort of like right in your face. I think they try to do that lyrically as well, to sort of, I think they try to get points across in their songs, and I think they do that quite well. And they use this sort of black and white image of themselves to enhance the music, so to speak, if that makes sense. They sort of make the music stand out by making them not stand out as much, if you know what I mean. They make the music the main thing. But the black and white thing is cool as well. I think it makes them stand out. It's like one of those things you don't mean it to do. Like you put a black and white filter on your selfie and you look on point. You always do. Black and white is the new colour. I'm sorry if you're colourblind. I actually don't know if colourblind people see in black and white or not. I think it's just some colours you can't see. I'm not sure. They also have very poppy style of music, and they're well known for their stripped down style of music, and the songs are sort of collaborations of funk, pop, indie, but they all sort of follow a sort of rock ambient. That's what they try to be. They're like a modern rock band. That's what they try to be, a very popular modern rock band. The second album's influences, which are like D'Angelo, Christina Aguilera, Boards of Canada, bands like this, really shine through in the tracks. You can see that they've took these heavy jazz and dance influences and sort of turned them on their head, but they really shine through. There's a sort of Michael Jackson vibe throughout the entire thing as well. In their songs they have shiny vocals which are mixed with sort of in-your-face funk. Songs like Love Me, She's American, very shiny, glamorous words to this full-on funk songs. There's no messing about. These songs are pure from the 80s, but 80s is very in right now. They should have called themselves the 1985. The amount of 80s influences they have is shocking. But they are sort of leading the way for 80s music coming back. But they also have sort of ambient and soft melodies, particularly in their second album. There's lots of interludes. The title track as an instrumental piece, and it's so well done. I really like that. Like, I think it's quite underrated. Not many people talk about it because it's like the songs like Change of Heart and all that really get people going, get people talking. The 1975 really owe their success to people like Hugh Stevens and Zane Lowe, because they sort of garnered more attention for their two lead singles from their first EPs, Face Down and Sex, which the title track, obviously of that, was Sex. They're obsessed, I'm telling you. Bunch of horny rabbits. The lead track from the Face Down EP, which was The City, marked the 1975's first UK airplay, and that was thanks to Hugh Stevens, and they featured on BBC's Introducing. And from then, this sort of marked the path towards their mainstream success. After extensive touring of the UK and the US, the 1975 found major success with Chocolate, which reached 19 in the UK singles charts and 18 in Scotland. Yes! It gained gold certification in the UK and US as well, and the song marked the band's move from obscurity into the mainstream. That's a hard word, obscurity. I got it though, I think. Following more touring to support the release of their EPs, there were support acts for various big names such as the Rolling Stones. The first album, the 1975, was released in late 2013, and the lead single of that was a reworked version of Sex, which was a commercial and critical success. And I just seen this album everywhere when it was released. It was on the news, it was in every shop. HMV had the big vinyl staring you in the face, and it did look enticing. Like, it's a cool cover. It got the job done. After the announcement of their second album, Love Me premiered at an overwhelming critical acclaim, and now I know this because this song wasn't out that long ago and it was played everywhere. I was even at gigs and they would play background music and it was just this. This song was always the first, and it was always the last. It was at every party you were at. I'm not complaining, it's a good song. It's an amazing solo in it, so you should really give that a listen. 2 months later, at the end of 2015, they released Ugh. I don't know how you meant to say that with emphasis. Is it with emphasis? Is it Ugh? Is it I don't know. That debuted on Radio 1. So again, they have to thank the success of their songs to these radio DJs, as most people do nowadays actually. The Sound followed shortly after as well, another big song from 1975, played at every party, played at every gig. Finally, the single Somebody Else was released in the weeks running up to the release of their second album, completing the lead singles that would forefront this album. All the singles from the second album seen widespread success both critically and commercially, and marked the 1975's transition into a fully fledged pop band. They made it, guys. They made it.